Peace. Boy, it's almost evening. I'm out here by my car again. I'm gonna do another video, guys. Dropping another one. Yet another one. You know what? I didn't like the way I said that. I'm dropping another video. I'm gonna always try to drop as many videos as I can. So, who am I to say that? Restart, but not really. Psych. Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted, like I said, usually when I record, I try to do it just before evening time. I don't know. That's just where the flow of my energy is a lot better. My energy flow is a lot more stronger, I guess. I have a stronger sense of spirit to like talk about what I want to talk about. So usually I can do a video anytime, anywhere for the most part. It's just because I am busy with other things, but you know, I always find that the best time for me is just right before evening where it starts to get dark. So I'm just trying to address it. It's really, really bright. I don't think that even helps. But yeah, I'm gonna cover, what did I want to title it? I was trying to look for the title of the video in my list that I wrote down, but for this video I'm gonna title it what I wrote a couple of weeks ago. So it would be a pure heart versus anger. You know, having a pure heart versus anger. And the reason that the title is the way that it is, that I chose, the reason that I chose that title is because I want to talk about, you know, the benefits that you'll have of your of having like a lighthearted sense of self, having a lightheartedness within yourself. And I've done a video on this like a couple of years ago actually. It's called Lighten Thy Heart, and it's like literally like a 4-minute video. And I was just kind of rambling on about how the importance of having a light heart and having your heart be light as a feather. And it's literally like a 4-minute video. Like, I'm surprised how quick that was. Like, it was a short ass video. But yeah, I dropped that video a couple years ago, and you can find it on my YouTube channel. On my channel, obviously, you can just scroll all the way down. You'll have to kind of do quite a bit of scrolling, not that much, but just scroll down a little bit, and it'll be like one of the first few videos I've done. Not the very first ones, but it's like it's one of my earlier videos where I was just kind of starting off with how I discuss certain light codes or spiritual messages that I receive, and just certain things, certain like what's the word, like epiphanies, if you want to call it that I receive either from meditation or just looking within or just doing a lot of research and just learning about myself and growing and evolving. So yeah, for this one, this video was going to be called A Pure Heart versus Anger, and the importance of having a light heart and what that means. So it's like I'm kind of readdressing the Lighten Thy Heart video that I made like a couple of years ago, back in like 2019. So now that I have a better sense of clarity and understanding and better knowledge and a better conscious awareness about certain things about myself on a spiritual level, I feel like I can like recap that video now. With a much longer video, it'll have more depth and fluidity to it. And so yeah, the reason that it's important to have, you know, your light, and excuse me if I'm like looking away and stuff as I'm talking. I find sometimes that as I'm talking and I get in the zone, I tend to kind of just look away. So that's where I get most of the flow. So yeah, the importance of having a light heart, like I said in that video, because it was a 4-minute video, so pretty much I was just basically talking about how it's important to have a light heart, because in the end, at the end of your humanity, at the later stages of your life when you're gonna die, it's important for you to have a light heart, or have a heart as light as a feather, because that's how you transform and evolve your DNA to ascend and not have to come back to this plane of existence in humanity, in this planet. That's how you can assure you're not coming back here, is by being able to finally discover the divine spark within yourself, raising your consciousness on a higher level, knowing thyself, having your heart become as light as a feather, and being able to forgive others and ultimately yourself. You have to know that you were never really here. This is a matrix, this is the illusion, this is the Maya. And having emotional attachments such as anger and hatred and disappointment, animosity, all the negative emotions that you're... Because the negative emotions can exist, but when you're attached to them and you've become filled with hate and animosity and anger, disappointment, heartbreak, your heart is becoming heavier because of those things. And that's what's weighing you down, because that's what's going to anchor you to this physical plane and keep you from ascending and rising above and getting the F out of here, is your heart. And so, I mean, forgiveness is a powerful thing. There's power in forgiveness, and it's so cliche to talk about forgiveness, let alone make a damn video about it. But forgiveness really is a powerful thing to be able to have for others and for yourself. Because often when things happen to us in our lives, we don't have that realization of how much it really impacts us on a subconscious level. Because the things in your heart, the things that you feel in your heart, I mean, your heart is the center of your being. It's the center of who you are. So the things that you hold in your heart are the things that you believe are to be true and to be fact, whether they actually are or not. That's not up to me to decide. The things that you feel in your heart, based on your experiences and the beliefs you've adopted throughout your human experience, through the many years of your life, you're holding those things in your heart. Therefore, those are the things that kind of shape your being, the very being and the character that you are as a person. Like, what's in your heart is what really radiates out into the world, as within, so without. So the things that you hold dear, or the things that you hold in your heart, are just the things that you kind of dream about. Whatever you feel in your heart, the things that you feel and believe in your heart, which is a very deep thing with your inner being, those are the things that you will end up having dreams about. Because the dreams, remember that when you sleep and you have REM sleep, which is your state of deep sleep where you have your dreams, keep in mind that when you have your dreams, the dreams that you have, even although dreams are very abstract, and we all know this, but dreams are very abstract, yet they do send messages to you. It's up to you to decode the messages that are in your dreams, because your dreams are interpreting or translating or communicating with you the things that currently lie within your heart. And I feel like I'm going to be addressing a lot of videos, a lot of past videos in this video, because another video that I can address here is the other video that I had a couple of months ago about joy being a good momentum to turn things around. And in that video, I was, pretty much talking about, the importance of, I keep saying importance like it's some, anyway, right? Joy is a good momentum to have to start turning things around and shit like that. Because when you have more joy and more pleasant things and pleasures in your life, that's gonna lighten your heart, because the dreams that you're gonna have when you're more happy, when you're essentially a more happier person, you're more happy about life in general, and you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying life, you're lightening your heart with joy. Life becomes easier, you're stress-free. Therefore, the dreams that you produce at night will send back to you messages that are much more, I guess, if you want to call it, like, you know, positive. They're better. You're gonna have better messages that have more joy and happiness. Because as within, so without. So the things within you reflect on the outside. And so, because stress and negativity and things that you dislike and things that bother you and bother your mind and your heart and your soul, these are the things that these are the things that you keep in your heart. And like I said, what's in your heart will be translated in your dreams. And so your dreams are just there to interpret what you feel in your heart. And so I wanted to make this video in particular because I felt like I just felt the absolute need to, particularly because it just feels like there's a calling for it. Because I just had this sense of lightheartedness within me today while I was at work, and everything was like at a very like good vibe. So everything was kind of going well, everything was going right, everything was just smooth, but on like a higher spiritual sense, if that even makes sense. You know, everything was just going well, everything was going smooth. And so within those moments or those modes of that emotion, or whenever I have those modes of energy where everything is just clear and everything's going smooth, that's usually my chance to really tap in and get knowledge from within, you know, the light codes, if you want to call it that, and start downloading them into you know, my mind and my heart for me to eventually share the knowledge or drop the jewel. So like, I'll give you an example. Like, I felt like today, a part of me felt like the outside world kind of tests your patience. And so, example, I was at Safeway, I bought something, and then I wanted to buy like a coffee, I wanted to buy a drink at Starbucks, at the Starbucks cafe at Safeway. So I was in line. It wasn't a long line, it was just me and this lady in front of me. And this lady in front of me and the cashier, they just start talking to each other. And they're conversating, and they're really conversating. It was like a good, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 minutes of them talking. It felt like that. It felt like 5 minutes or some shit. And I'm standing behind her, and I was trying so hard to be patient, but slowly but surely I was feeling my patience thinning. So I guess you could say that's my ego. That's pretty much like my ego telling me, oh, this fucking bitch is just gonna keep talking. This cashier's a bitch. This customer's a bitch. And they're all out to get me. They're just trying to irritate me. I'm trying so hard to be patient. I even almost thought about just leaving. But I said, no, I'm gonna stay here and I'm gonna get served. So basically, all I'm trying to make with this example is, like, my ego was like, or the devil on my shoulder, right, was telling me to start having hatred, start being annoyed, get frustrated, get annoyed, get on your lower self. But then the angel on this side, on the other side, was telling me to keep my patience. And sure enough, because I stuck with the feeling in my heart, the pure heartedness that I had, sure enough, everything turned out okay. Because when I got in line, the cashier actually, not that I was expecting it, but the cashier did apologize, and she did say, oh, I'm sorry about that other lady that I was talking to for so long. I didn't, you know, your drink is free, it's on me, I'm not charging you, what can I get you? And I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, really? Well, thank you so much, I appreciate that, but, you know, I'm willing to pay. And then she's like, no, you're good, you don't have to pay for it, don't worry about it. Like, what can I get you? And so I kindly and politely accepted. I'm like, okay, well, you know, I got my drink, I told her what I wanted, and I got it for free. And we even conversated a little bit as well. So that was just an example for me to give in regards to, you know, like having more patience. Because sometimes we may feel like the outside world is testing us. But in actuality, you know, maybe it's like you're testing your own self on a subconscious level. Like, you got your devil, you pretty much have your devil on your shoulder on each side. So the devil on this shoulder will tell you one thing, but the angel who's more connected to your heart will tell you another thing. And so everything just kind of went smooth today, right? I followed my heart. I remained patient. I remained consistent with my energy, and I didn't let anything break me through and ruin anything, and everything went well. And then a couple of hours later, I come home, and because my grandma is currently staying with us for a couple of weeks, so, and just to, long story short, she doesn't really have my grandmother doesn't really have a good relationship with her daughter, who's my auntie. And so that was another sign from like the universe or my higher self to make this video, because my grandmother was, I heard her crying on the phone because she was upset about something that happened back in Seattle with my cousin, because my cousin lives in Seattle. So my grandma's sister lives in Seattle, and my auntie, the mother of my cousin on my mother's side, my auntie and her husband went to Seattle to visit my cousin. And I guess something along the lines of, because my auntie and my grandma, they don't get along, so something basically to where they were like my grandmother's sister, the auntie of my auntie. I don't want this to be confusing. So my grandma's sister and my auntie, to go visit my cousin, they were pretty much just talking trash about my grandma. And so that really fueled the fire in my grandmother's heart, which is full of anger. And so she's crying, she's bawling out her eyes, and she's just like, how could they do this to me? I will never, never, never forgive her for this. And you get the point of what I'm trying to say. My grandma is currently dealing with emotional things right now, and just as we all do. And so she's basically just proclaiming, I'm never gonna forgive my sister for this, and I'm never gonna forgive them, and blah 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 blah. She's just speaking from a place of anger. And so that's just a sign for me all the more to make this video about having a pure heart versus anger. Because the thing of it is, when you have a pure heart, you're connecting back to your childhood. Because just remember when you were a kid. Just remember when you were a kid, right? You would get upset. You'll get upset whether you're a baby, a toddler, a small child, a teenager, an adult, you're a senior citizen. You're gonna get upset because you're a human, and that happens. That's just the ebbs and flows of the energy in this material world that we live in. But the importance of your lightheartedness is that what you're really doing is you're connecting back to your inner child, the inner child that's within you. Because, like I said, remember when you were a kid, you were upset, you got upset about things. But if you've noticed, the one thing you can kind of discern from your child self versus you now as an adult is, when you were a kid, life actually was more full of joy. Life was more full of joy, and life was easier. Well, because you weren't working and shit, but yeah, life was easier. You had a much lighter heart. Your heart was light as a feather when you were a kid. And when you would get upset or angry as a kid, if you've noticed, you didn't stay angry for that long. Have you noticed that? Like, I'll let you think about that. Like, have you noticed how much easier it was for you to forgive people, your friends, and anybody you were interacting with when you were a kid? Did you notice how easier it was to forgive? And you didn't even have to think about the word or the concept of forgiveness. You just let it go. Whatever upset you, you were able to let that shit go and just move on. You'll fight with your friend or your whoever, and then like 10 minutes later, you're over it and you're playing again. That's magical shit. That's not shit you can do now as an adult. When you get upset or you get into an argument with somebody, doesn't that shit take forever? Or doesn't it feel like it takes forever for you to get over that shit? It seems like you're holding on to some shit that pissed you off for only a moment. But then you realize as an adult, you're holding on to a lot of anger that happened only in a moment. What happened in a moment's time, actually stayed in your fucking heart, and you held on to that shit for years. That's crazy. And you just couldn't get over it. Whereas a kid, something just as drastic or maybe even worse, they got over it in like less than 5 to 10 minutes. But you, as an adult, couldn't get over one situation or one circumstance or one thing, and you held on to that motherfucker for years. And it's eating you to fuck up. That's the difference between a pure or between your, your inner child or your child self versus the adult you who can't let shit go. I'm not saying you or anyone personally. I'm just saying like in general. That's one of the things that separates you from being from a kid. Is that kids are more forgiving. They're more forgiving a lot faster. Not to say that they don't get upset, because they do, and they'll even say they won't forgive you, but they do. They get over it. Excuse me. But you get the point of what I'm trying to say here, is your heart was just built different when you were a kid to where now as an adult, how it is. It's just a different ball game. So that's magic. You have to be able to get back into that that heart space where you're able to just forgive fast. Because that's ultimately what's gonna set your soul free in the end when it's your time, because you're no longer gonna be anchored by you're no longer gonna be anchored or weighed down by your emotional trauma, the negativity, the animosity, hatred, heartbreak, disappointment, hurt and pain. Those things are no longer gonna hold you down, because those are heavy emotions, and they make your heart heavy. They make your heart very dense. They add density to your heart. Hence why the saying of, having your heart be as light as a feather, because negative emotions and all those things that I just said, those things weigh down your heart. Therefore, it keeps you from ascending above and just going to your so-called heaven and moving on from humanity. That's what's keeping you from having your wings and keeping you from flying, because that density keeps you down. You're not able to flow freely and to just move on and let that shit go. Because your soul and your spirit, whatever you want to call it, your soul, your inner being so hurt and affected by those negative emotions, it's like a statement you're making to yourself. Oh, I didn't get over this yet. I didn't get over these past hurts and pains and heartbreaks. When it's your time to go and you never let any of those things go, you're kind of asking to be reincarnated back, to have a redo, to do this humanity shit all over again, because your soul felt incomplete. Your soul felt like it didn't learn anything. Your soul felt like I didn't make any closure or peace with anything. Which is also why oftentimes when people pass away, they don't they often tell you, make peace with your loved ones now, because essentially there's an understanding there that at any moment that you die and you don't make this certain kind of peace with yourself and with others, you're bringing your ass right back over here. And so you need to be able to just forgive yourself and forgive others, because that's what's going to set you free. Only you can set yourself free. And so, let thy heart be lighter than a feather. Lighten thy heart. That's what's gonna let you, or set you free from humanity, because when you're emotionally traumatized and bothered by these things, by humanity, you're saying that humanity conquered you. Humanity dominated you and overcame the divine spark and the pure-heartedness that you once had as a child. It conquered you, it weighed you down, it gave your heart density, now it anchored you down here, and when you die, your ass is coming right back. Because there's a joy in forgiveness, isn't it? Isn't there? Isn't there like a joy in forgiveness? There is, isn't there? There's a joy in forgiveness, and there's a joy in being able to let go. I mean, just ask yourself, when you're angry and you're upset at somebody, and it might be a while before you get over it, haven't you noticed that once you actually did get over it, aren't you able to feel so good? Like, don't you even realize how freeing that shit feels to forgive that person, and vice versa, when they're hurt from you and then they let it go and you've both finally made that peace? That's like one of the most like good feelings, and those are one of the things that feel really, really freeing within your being. Those are one of the most amazing, extravagant, magnificent, out of this world feeling, is being able to finally let the hate go, the anger, the hurt, the sadness, being able to forgive them, him, her, yourself. That it's literally setting you free, because you're getting rid of that weight. You know, you're getting rid of that density that's within your heart that's anchoring you. Because essentially that's the world that you come from anyway, is that sense of joy, and happiness, I suppose, and innocence and purity. That's the world you came from. That's why when you're a child, that's exactly how you're like. You have all those character traits, those characteristics, but you tend to lose it as an adult because you go through things. And I guess the secret to your human life is being able to just forgive others and forgive yourself, and to know that this wasn't even real. You were never even really here. It was just an experience, and therefore you can have that understanding and just set yourself free. You'd be like this. You'd be flying, right? You'll just be flying away. You'll be soaring free. You'll be free like a bird, because you've forgiven others and you've forgiven yourself, and you've discovered that love for yourself. Therefore, your heart has become lighter than a feather. And that's pretty much it, you know. The importance of having a light heart, lighten thy heart, or let thy heart be light as a feather, a pure heart versus anger. Because when you act out of anger, like, let me see if I can get in on it. Because you know, when you're angry, right? Anger is just another way. The way I kind of perceive anger, depending on what it is, right? But the way I kind of perceive anger is like you're trying to like redeem yourself. You're trying to like redeem something that was done wrong unto you. Somebody did you wrong, somebody pissed you off, upset you, did something you didn't like. You want to redeem yourself. Because sometimes the thing is, sometimes we have that chance to feel good by getting revenge, seeking vengeance, and hurting someone that hurt us. There is a certain feeling to that, and I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying some people, a lot of times it's a fact. People do feel good from getting revenge, from being able to take revenge and get their revenge on people, because it feels good. It's like, oh, okay, now we're even. You hurt me, I hurt you twice as bad. So now I feel good because I've shown you the pain you put me through. That kind of shit. It's just like in Naruto, right? When Pain was just constantly blabbering to Naruto about fucking hate. Oh, your pain is not greater than mine. I'm gonna show the world the pain I've felt, the pain that I've gone through, the pain that I've endured in the course of my life. I'm gonna show it to the world. That's how I'm gonna teach the world. That's how I'm gonna make peace, is by showing hate. Like, motherfucker, you are stupid. Like, that aspect of pain is stupid. And I don't care what any Naruto heads will say about that. That's stupid. That's just condoning and promoting more hate and heavy-heartedness. Yeah, you hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna show the world the pain that it's caused me by creating another shinobi war, and I'm gonna hurt everybody and destroy all the villages and have my revenge. That's how I'm gonna make peace. That's fucking stupid. That's absolutely stupid. Because you're just showing how much of a pussy you are, and you're just showing how pathetic you really are, essentially. That you can let that shit go. That you just have to go hurt someone else. Because the very fact that you just have to go hurt someone from hurting you, because they hurt you, is just showing you it's just showing you how weak you are. Like I just said, your heart, the pure heartedness that you had as a child, which is your true divine spark, you're showing that this world, this humanity bullshit, was able to dominate that divine spark. That you have no divine spark, or whatever divine spark you had is conquerable and ain't worth a damn to humanity. And the whole point is to get out of humanity and to ascend from this shit. And so yeah, with Pain and Naruto Shippuden, when Pain and Naruto are fighting, and fucking stupid ass Pain is just blabbering on about hate. I gotta make the world. I gotta show the world hate. I gotta hurt the world like the way that the world hurt me. I gotta show hate and pain to the world so I can get even, and that's how I make peace. That's fucking bullshit. You make peace by letting that shit go. That's how you fucking make peace, is by letting that motherfucker go. You forgive others, you forgive yourself. You forgive yourself for being a human. You forgive yourself for being flawed. You forgive people who hurt you. You forgive the bully. You forgive the heartbreaker. You forgive everybody. Let that shit go. It doesn't matter. Humanity's flawed. It's bound to happen. It's meant to happen. It's designed to happen. This is, like I said in that Lighten Thy Heart video, this is a hellhole in an essence. So what more can you expect from a hellhole than hell? This is a dump. What more do you expect from a dump than some bullshit and garbage and funk and odor and germs and filth everywhere? Like you're just a fool. So Pain is an absolute fool in Naruto for saying those things, because the way to make peace is by having that peace with yourself. Because let me tell you this, when you can find that peace, or first of all, let me just say, when you're able to find that love for yourself, because self-love is the ultimate key here. When you're able to find that love for yourself, to forgive others and to ultimately forgive yourself, you're reconnecting with your inner child. You're reconnecting with your divine spark that you had when you came to this planet. Because that's what's going to set you free, right? So the thing is, you can't change people. People can only fucking change themselves. So the people who've wronged you, who've hurt you, I'm not saying be friends with them. I'm not saying love them near and dear. You don't have to, or be friends or be buddy-buddy with them. I'm not saying any of that shit. I'm just saying let it go. Forgive them and let it go. They don't have to be a part of your life. But why let them win? Why let them have that, why let them take up that space in your heart and win over you? You know? Because it's corny, but the saying for many years over the course of time has been, you know, kill him with kindness. Yeah. You gotta kill him with kindness. You have to be able to just forgive the bullshit, because humanity's fucked up anyway. So to truly make peace, I would have told Pain, the way you really want to make peace, if you really want to fucking make peace with yourself, dude. Make peace with your goddamn self. Let that shit go. Because you can't change people. Because even Pain in Naruto said it himself. He said, even if I make this shinobi war and I kill everyone and I fuck everyone up and I destroy all the villages, it's just gonna start another cycle of hate. So even with his own philosophy, he was on some bullshit, because he was contradicting his own self. He was even saying, yeah, even if I wreak havoc on the world is just gonna be full of hate anyway. Nothing's gonna fucking change. There's gonna be another person that's gonna be full of hate from what I did. Naruto, this is just never gonna end. It's never gonna end because you don't want it to end. That's what it is. It's never gonna end because you don't want that shit to fucking end. That's why. That's exactly why you can't move on, Pain. I mean, his name is Pain, for goodness sake. This motherfucker's name is Pain. Like, this nigga tripping. His name is Pain. Like, how more ridiculous can you get? How much more heavy-hearted could you get? That's his name, Pain. The motherfucker who couldn't let shit go. He was even stating that to Naruto. Even if I get my so-called revenge and wreak havoc on this planet, it's gonna be pointless because some shinobi out there, some ninja out there is gonna rise up and become full of hate like I did, and it's just gonna happen all over again. And it's up to you, Naruto, to figure all this shit out. Naruto already figured it out. He figured it out with peace. You stupid ass. He already figured this shit out. He already decoded it. And so, yeah, with that being said, you know, a pure heart versus anger. Anger is, I didn't get on. It's every time I'm about to end the video, like I keep saying. Every time I'm about to close out the video, I think of more shit to say. So I want to say, yeah, with anger is just like a way for you to redeem yourself. Or I believe it's your ego, you know. It's usually like your ego that wants to redeem itself. Because your ego is not your enemy necessarily. Your ego is just there to protect you. But your ego is limited. It has a lot of limitations because your ego is made up of your belief system and your appearance and what your beliefs are about life and who you are, who you think you are. It doesn't have the freedom and flexibility and the fluidity of your divine spark, your innocence and your purity, which is like water, because it can flow, it can adapt, and it can forgive and let things go and let things be and accept things and just adapt with the situation. Your ego has a lot of limits, so your anger is just a way for you to redeem yourself. Like, hey, you said something to me I didn't like, you did this thing to me I didn't like, you said this, you did that, I heard this, that happened, I didn't like it, you fucked me up, you pissed me off. You angered me, you hurt me, you betrayed me, you lied to me. Like, and even that statement is showing like a sense of conditional love. I'm only going to be happy, or I'm only going to have joy in my heart, or I'm only going to like you or be happy if things are in order. If things are going a certain way, I'm happy. If things are not going the way that I want, then I'm not happy. I'm unhappy, I'm angry, I'm upset. Having joy, or that pure heart with the sense of joy, is just being happy no matter what. You can cultivate that within yourself. You don't need to look for outside things, and that's the importance. So what I was saying was, yeah, with anger is just a way, the way I perceive it sometimes, anger is just showing it's just like when you get angry, you're just like, your ego is just trying to like redeem itself. Like, I want you to take that back. You did something wrong. You've done something wrong to me, and I want you to take that shit back. I want you to fix it. I want you to say sorry to me. I want you to fucking apologize. I want you to make this right. You're kind of forcing peace, in a sense. That's how anger operates. Because when something is done unto you that you don't like, you respond back with that same energy, which is anger, and you're trying to redeem that thing that was taken from you. That's how anger operates. You're angry because something wrong was done to you, so you want to redeem yourself. Therefore, you're fighting back. You're kind of forcing that justice to be served. Whereas that pure heartedness, like I'm talking about, is being able to find that peace regardless of what someone or what something says or what something has become. You're able to find that peace and happiness and joy with or without your fucking approval. I'm going to be happy no matter what. I'm going to forgive you no matter what. I don't need you to say sorry to me face to face for me to forgive you. I'm going to forgive you no matter what. That's the magic and the beauty of having a pure heart. I don't need some outside circumstance or situation to change for me to be happy and to feel better. I can find that within myself no matter what. because my pure heart can do that. I can create any reality that I want and shapeshift things and change things to however I wish. And that's the magic of having that pure heart versus your anger. Because your anger is just trying to take back what was taken from it, or what was taken from you, and you're forcing the peace, or you're forcing that justice to be served. Whereas with a pure heart, forgiveness, and having that purity, you're gonna have that justice or that peace no matter what, because you're just gonna move on. You're gonna let it go, like, that's whatever. It's that realization and understanding. I don't really control other people, in a sense. I have no control of what other people say or do and their attitude about their life. Give a fuck about you. Like, you got problems, that's your problem. It's not my problem. I'm gonna be happy no matter what. I'm not letting you drag me the fuck down with your ass. So I can be happy on my own and forgive on my own and find the joy on my own and forgive ultimately myself on my own. I don't need your approval. And that's ultimately the difference with a pure heart versus anger. Your pure heart can forgive no matter what and can find happiness no matter what. But anger is acting out of redemption, out of insecurity, because it wants to take back something that was taken from it, or from you, I mean. That's why it's aggressive, because it's insecure. Therefore, you have to act extra tough, extra hard. You got to put on extra energy to redeem something that was taken from you, because you're not able to cultivate it yourself with your own purity of heart, with peace. And so I just wanted to drop that video. A pure heart versus anger. You know, heart be as light as a feather, lighten thy heart. This is like a recap on Lighten Thy Heart, that 4-minute fucking video. So I wanted to touch up on it and get more in depth with it. And so, yeah. Just remember, you know, how good it feels to let shit go. When you get angry or upset with somebody and you have an argument and you guys get into it, when you guys make that peace and you squash the beef, doesn't that feel good? I mean, think of squashing the beef, like that fucking saying, right? As it may sound, as silly as it may sound, you know, the metaphysics of that and the spirituality of that is being able to let that shit go. Like, hey, fuck it, whatever. It is what it is. It happened. We can't really change the past physically, but we can in our minds. Therefore, we can just let that shit go. We can let it slide. You can just, like, squash the beef. Because it's whatever. It already happened. Why spend the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years being angry about a moment? Think about that shit. You're heavy-hearted and angry for many years about something that happened in a moment. When a kid can let that shit go in 5 minutes. What you couldn't let go in 5 years, a kid could let go in 5 minutes. Like, sit on that for a while. Marinate on that. Like, that's crazy. You know? Sometimes it's just being able to go back to your inner child. That's your true guide. That's your true wisdom. Because you're just coming to a realization of yourself, of your higher self, through self-love, self-knowledge, you know, being able to lighten your heart. Because the negative things that you get upset about, the conflicts, the fights, the negative emotions, pain, hate, anger, all those things, like, stay in your heart. And like I just said earlier in the video, right? Remember? When you're angry, or like the things that you hold in your heart, they remain there if they remain unaddressed. They stay in your heart, and it's like, it seems like you can't let it go. So it gets heavier and denser and denser and more dense until it becomes, or it comes to have so much density that it anchors you down. And then it becomes a part of your being. So you're having dreams about it. So your dreams are trying to interpret to you the things that you're feeling in your heart. Because like I said, the dreams that you have are just based on your subconscious. And what's in your subconscious is essentially what's in your heart. So you could say that the subconscious and the heart, they're essentially like very interconnected. They're pretty much, in my opinion, they're like the same thing. Because the subconscious is the real creator of your reality in this matrix. That's what sets your reality. That's what designs and creates your reality through your own individual perception, or through your own perception, I guess. The way you perceive your human experience is based on your subconscious. And your subconscious is from your heart, which the knowledge, the belief system, and the things that you've picked up over the years on what you believe is true, what you believe isn't true. So, yes, a pure heart versus anger. You know, the importance of having a light heart, lighten thy heart. Let your heart be as light as a feather. Just let this shit go. Forgive like the way you would when you were a kid. The way someone could do you wrong or hurt you or upset you now as an adult, try to do that. Try to forgive them like the kid version of yourself would, and see how elevating that feels in your sense of being. See how much more elevated that you'll feel. See how much more elevated you would feel, and uplifted you'll feel. You know, there's a magic to that, and it's just absolutely important to forgive your enemies, because they're human too. And if it really helps or makes you feel any better, their life honestly probably isn't any better than yours. They probably go through bullshit too. That's why they're like that. That's why they upset you, because someone upset them. You don't want to lose that divine spark. You don't want to lose that pure heartedness that you came here on this planet with. The goal is actually to keep that through all of your life. What you came here with, which is that pure heartedness when you were a child, when you were an infant, when you were a child, that's what you got to leave with too. Think about that for a moment. That pure heartedness that you had as a child, that innocence, that purity, that joy that you came here with as a kid, as an infant, as a child, you got to leave with it too. So that you can set your soul free. That's how you do it. You can't set your soul free when you're full of anger, because what you're doing when your heart is full of anger, like I said, when you're full of anger, what you're doing is you're anchoring. Anchor. Is there a connection? Anchor. What you're doing with having a lot of anger and animosity in your heart is you're anchoring down your heart and your spirit, or your soul and your spirit, with density, which is keeping you from going up. It's keeping you from walking through your so-called gates of heaven. Because what you're telling, it's a reflection. So what you're telling yourself at that time is, I'm not ready to go yet. I have to come back here and redo. I'm flunking humanity. I gotta redo it. I gotta be held back. I'm not gonna graduate because I didn't learn nothing. Because think of life as school, right? Think of humanity as a school. You're essentially here to learn. But if you don't get the knowledge and you're not doing your homework, you're taking your ass back here again to redo it. So you're gonna flunk. So that heavy-heartedness is what's gonna cause you to essentially flunk and repeat the grade, or repeat the humanity again. Because your heart was attached to it. That's what happens when you're angry. You have a lack of closure about something. There was a stone left unturned. Because no stones left unturned is always the saying and shit. So anger, hatred, animosity, these things, that's leaving some stones unturned. That's leaving something for you to work on. That's something within yourself, within your very being, that wasn't fixed or solved and your soul is gonna be dying to, not really dying, your soul doesn't die, but that's something that your soul is really itching to fix and to figure out. Because remember, your soul is internal. Your soul is eternal. Your soul, your soul doesn't die. So, but your body does. So think of it like this: when you have baggage and you have beef, and even in your dying days, you still couldn't let those things go because it's still dwelling in your heart chakra, and in your being, and in your system, and all that shit, and in your subconscious. Your body's gonna go no matter what. You're gonna die no matter what. But you not being able to let those things go just pretty much means, well, this body's gonna die in a matter of time. It's only gonna be a matter of time, anytime now. But I'm still very upset about something. I'm still angry. I'm still hurt about something. There's still something unresolved in my human experience, because you're here for a human experience. Therefore, as this body's dying at any moment, or gonna die at any moment, I'm not ready to let this shit go yet, because I'm still upset about something. Therefore, when that time comes for your physical body to die, your soul is going to reincarnate back here again to repeat it and to learn it again. And you'll be reincarcerated, right? As Bobby Hemmett would say. You'll be in for another reincarceration because your body was ready to go, but you weren't ready to go with it. So therefore, you're coming back here on a different body, or maybe the same body. Who knows? You might be repeating the exact same life again. But the point is, if you didn't let things go in your human experience, you're coming back to this motherfucker to repeat it. Because your body's gonna go no matter what, but if you're not ready to go with it, then you're coming back here. That's why they tell you when people are dying, when loved ones are passing away, or TV shows, movies, comic books, manga, anime, whatever, you're always gonna see it. When someone's dying, or when they're in their deathbed, their last dying words, or not dying words, but their last dying moments, they're always being told, okay, did you make peace? Are you okay? Are you, were you able to see all your kids, grandkids? Were you able to see all your family and loved ones? Were you able to make your last peace, see them one last time? The whole one last time thing. All that shit is pretty much just saying, are you ready to fucking go? Have you finally let this shit go? Are you ready to go? Because this shit is coming to an end. Your physical body is dying. And if you're not ready to go with it, then you're coming back. Your ass is coming back here. That's the whole concept of that whole one last time thing. One last time. Can I see you one last time? Can I talk to you one last time? Can I speak with you one last time? Can I hug you one last time? Can I kiss you one last time? Can I go with you to the park one last time? Can I just talk to you about the things that I should have said sorry for one last time? Like, that's all that one last time shit is just getting you to prepare to go. Because if you're not ready to go with the body, or not with the body, but if you're not ready to go as your physical body's dying, your soul is coming back here. Because your soul feels like there were unresolved things that you didn't accomplish or fix or solve. Your heart got heavy. That heaviness is just that unresolved bullshit that your soul is itching to solve, to fix. And you know this because your heart, you can't lie to yourself. Therefore, you can't lie to your heart. Because when you have anger and hatred and certain things that you feel in your heart, you know damn well there's things in your heart that's trying to communicate with you through your feelings, your emotions, and your dreams. But your fucking ego is just getting in the way, trying to suppress it. Oh, ignore that shit. Let that shit go. Or not let it go, but ignore that shit. Oh, that's nothing. Don't listen to that. Forget it. That motherfucker's a bitch. Fuck him. Keep your anger. Stay angry. Stay angry with them. Instead of just forgiving and letting it go. Moving the fuck on. Your ego is what keeps you here, because your ego is a product of the planet. So, yeah. A pure anger, a pure anger. No. Absolutely not. A pure heart versus anger. You know, the importance of having your heart become as light as a feather. Lighten thy heart as light as a feather. Forgive and forget. You don't really forget, but in a sense what I'm trying to say is forgive and let go, because when you can forgive something, it'll just be a plain memory. It won't have any attachments to your heart, to your emotions. And so, yeah. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope I was able to shed some light here with this video. And this is just me speaking from the heart, as always. You know, I try to do my best to just speak from the heart. And so, with that being said, guys, peace.